Have you ever wondered about how imagination works when there is no visual data? For example, in case of blind individuals. As a blind person, I've thought about this many times and explored it also in my Universe of Consciousness series. The planet of imagination, which metaphorically speaking is rotating around the epistemic sun of reason, is like an infinite space where ideas are generated, thoughts are created, and like contributing to imagination contributes your thoughts and your thoughts toward your imagination. It's a mutual process, a kind of cognitive overcompensation sometimes in terms of blind individuals. Because when there is no visual data, it doesn't mean less, it doesn't mean the brain lacks something, but it always finds ways to overcompensate itself through various other ways. Albert Einstein, one of the greatest thinkers, physicists in human history, said that imagination is more important than knowledge. So if you consider visual data as knowledge, imagination is something that can challenge it. Knowledge is objectivity, although their knowledge can be both objective and subjective, but anyway, imagination may come towards more subjective perception rather than objective, because imagination is creative and creativity brings a kind of psychological investment in innovation. Albert Einstein also said that the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge, but imagination. So he kind of glorified imagination, a kind of cognitive glorification to it. In terms of blind individuals, as I have an experience of this, given my circumstances, I think it also depends on person to person. Imagination not only works differently in sighted people's case, but also not like when we say imagination of blind individuals, it's not universal. Everything, subjective experiences, all contribute toward a different perception. But I would like to highlight the role of imagination as a cognitive compensation. For example, right now, objectively, I would call this subjective objectivity, because it's objective for me, but subjective for all the sighted people. Like, no visual data at the moment. It is like the room is empty, right? It's like no objects here, but not because there is no any kind of object here, but because there is no visual data, there is no visual perception of them. So and in this case, my imagination starts working, collaborating with knowledge. I know that despite no visual data, despite the absence of vision, there is a kind of inner vision that can be represented through imagination. So imagination works here as an inner vision that can guide me, can help me better understand what's real, what is there, and what is beyond knowledge also. When I hear about an object, about something, maybe about a city, and I can't see the picture of that, I can't see any kind of video that could be a source of information, like traveling places, tourist places, etc. But imagination comes to compensate for that. I imagine it all, and sometimes I can imagine even more vividly. So blindness, the lack of vision, the absence of vision is a kind of inner vision, which gives me another, like, changes the universe of my consciousness. Everyone has a universe, everyone's consciousness is a type of universe where different planets are rotating, and the planet of imagination all depends on your experiences, your education level, your professional experience, your values, knowledge, etc. The term I suggested here, subjective objectivity, It's like when I say I see nothing, there is nothing here. It's objective for me. But a sighted person would say no. If we are outside, one could say there are trees here, there's a building nearby, etc. But I'd say no, there is no. So my objective is the other person's subjective experience, and vice versa. So here, knowledge can become imagination, and imagination can become knowledge. In all cases, what's important is to use imagination to improve our lives. And as a blind individual, I also use imagination as an inner vision, as an inner sight to communicate with the world and to compensate whatever is absent visually. This much for this video. Subscribe to follow this journey and also share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching.